As soon as I saw Count Orlok on the screen, I thought of one thing. I got chills. He's terrifying. Hey there, Cinephiles. Today I'm reviewing Nosferatu. This is a remake of the 1920s classic, which was a ripoff of Dracula, and you can clearly tell that in this film's DNA, even with this remake. Which, having watched all of the classic Dracula films just recently, this was a very interesting time watching this film. Because truly, this is very reminiscent of the classic monster movies, not just the Dracula ones, but in general, in the way it's just delivering its characters to the screen and how you're able to connect with them if you are at all. Which, I mean, might as well get the negatives out of the way before I get into my many positives. And that's that I wish I connected to the characters a good amount more. Especially our lead character, who's played by Lily Rose Depp. And look, you can tell she is acting as well as she can, but there's just something about her delivery and just performance that isn't quite fully there. It's almost there, and she's doing the best she can, and that's good, but you can tell with this character it could have been great. There is something about the script at hand that just, it doesn't necessarily give as deep of characters as at least I would have hoped for. It only really works for Nosferatu with how deep his character is, because he is just pure evil as opposed to these other characters who should have these ongoing and building motivations. And it's not like you don't get any of that at all, but instead of being these three-dimensional characters, it just felt like they were two-dimensional, which honestly just makes me want that version of this film where you were able to have Anya Taylor-Joy and Robert Pattinson star in this instead of the people that we had in here. Again, not that Lily Rose Depp and Nicholas Hoult were bad, they were actually very good, but again, I just feel like if it were Anya Taylor-Joy and Robert Pattinson, there just would have been this extra layer of deepness within these characters. And personally, for me, that's what keeps this movie from being one of my top 5 films of the entire year. But now let me move on to what I actually liked and loved about this movie, because there are plenty of things to look at. I gotta touch on the technical stuff, because just like any Robert Eggers film, on a technical level, all of his films are masterpieces. And this truly is no different, because my goodness, does it look beautiful, sound beautiful, and just the overall aesthetic and vibe that he is able to craft in this very movie. It's beyond impressive at this point, how he's just able to do it time and time again. And this time too, he focuses on shadows a lot more, and that's by far my favorite part about this entire film. It's how he uses shadows and just is able to cascade them over cities, or just, you know, block a character's face in half to really just give you that eerie vibe that this movie is able to do and get under your skin very well. This is a gothically beautiful and chilling tale that really sticks with you, and at least gave me chills down to my very spine. And again, it is because of those shadows and certain performances, which I'll get into in a second, but the use of shadows not only is a visual thing, but it's also very much tied into the themes of this film and the shadows of your very soul, and accepting that to actually do good in the world. I don't know why, but something about that theme and the way it's presented in this film, I just really liked it. And speaking of the imposing shadow and the evil that they're going up against, Nosferatu in this movie, not only does Bill Skarsgård give this wonderful performance, but the way that they make his voice just sound so booming and imposing, along with his aura and just being able to control every single scene he's in. I know he's a titular character, but wow, I loved seeing him on the big screen and just hearing him and feeling his presence. It's truly wonderful. And the way that you're just able to feel him, even in the shadows when you don't see him. A lot of that has to come from the wonderful cinematography and just the way that the camera is able to be fluid with the shadows and just continue to explore how imposing just Nosferatu's shadow can be, which also helps deepen his connection to the main character even. And my goodness, again, just Nosferatu as a character in this is just by far one of the best villains of the entire year. Hugely in part due to Bill Skarsgård, his performance, his makeup, and even the cinematography, and just how it's able to just make you feel him at all times. And although this movie may not be for everyone, this certainly is for me, as I personally was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Because truly, this movie was just able to grip me, and not just because of the hands motif that's clearly throughout the entire film, whether it be actually showing their hands or their shadows, which also is a very interesting thing that I want to look into more, but that's besides the point right now. This movie may be coming out at the most wonderful time of the year, but I know these characters were really going through it. However, I'm sure many other people are going to see this movie and appreciate it on so many levels. Even if you don't love it, I still highly suggest watching this on the biggest screen that you can. Not only because of the absolutely stellar visuals that have some of the best frames of the entire year, but because of that wonderful sound design that's sometimes disgusting and beautiful in other points. Try to watch this in the best theatrical experience that you can, because I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. I give Nosferatu a 4 out of 5 stars. I genuinely cannot wait to rewatch this movie, especially with as big of a crowd as I can. I just feel like it's going to play very well in a crowd, at least during the moment. They might not love it after, but during the moment, there are some great tension moments in this and scenes, and I just can't wait to rewatch it all again. But alright, those are my thoughts on Nosferatu. Be sure to let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Be sure to stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll catch you later.